Hey guys, Jess here from Knockout Print Shop, and today I have for you my first impressions of the 2020 Live Well Planner by Inkwell Press. So I caught wind that this was on Amazon from one of our customers in our Facebook group. It was released as far as being listed on Amazon a couple of months ago, I believe, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we can get the planner a little bit earlier than the typical September launch, and that would help us get a head start on color matching and all of that stuff. So we ordered it, and it came, I think last week, which was July something, which is super early for a 2020 planner to arrive. But since Tanya has outsourced her production of the coil-bound planners to a company called Eco Brands, and they're sold on Amazon now and Office Depot only, she's lost some of the kind of control over releases and launches. So just a heads up, guys, if you like the coil-bound planner, this one, Tanya's site, inkwellpress.com, does not sell these. Tanya's site does now and only will in the future sell her disc planner. So this, the disc system. And if you want the coil, you have to get that on Amazon or OfficeDepot.com or in Office Depot. So just that's how it works now. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. So let's get into my first impressions. So let me first start off by saying this is the Flex planner. I was hoping that I ordered the Classic. So the Flex is the horizontal layout. The Classic is the vertical layout. I prefer the Classic. I thought that's what I was getting. The title on the Amazon listing said Classic, but the description and the preview images of the inside of the planner showed the Flex. So I wasn't sure what they messed up. Did they mess up the title, or did they mess up the description and images? So clearly they messed up the title. Then I found out through the grapevine and some of the Facebook groups that Eco, the brand that now manufactures and produces these, will no longer be selling the Classic. They are only going to sell the coil-bound Flex layout, and there will be no more coil-free planner. That's at least what I've heard from various people, hearing from other various people. So I think that's the deal now, which is quite a disappointment for many of you that want the Classic, you know, the vertical layout in the coil bound. I don't know. So that's probably a topic for another discussion, another video. So with all of that said, this is the Flex layout of the 2020, and let's get into my first impressions of it. So obviously from first impressions, it's everything that you can typically expect from Inkwell Press. You have the regular chipboard cover with the, you know, the cool design of the front. So let me take this off so you can kind of see it. So I like this design. I think this design's cool. It's a lot different than her typical covers that tend to be more pastel. So she's still using her teal branded colors here, but she's got this splash of like black and pink, which is cool. It's different. Had I known I was getting the Flex, I would have gotten the black cover because I like that better. So I may end up giving this one away. It looks like this foil is kind of a coppery color, which matches the copper color of these coils. I still feel like the coils of Inkwell Press are just ginormous, which is another reason I prefer the discs. I just feel they're big, but I don't know if that's just a thing with these. I think it's called like a double O ring or something. They also were a little bent up. You know, when you order these planners from Amazon, you're not getting the fancy Inkwell Press box with the packaging and the little, you know, little inserts and all the branding stuff. It's literally Amazon bubble wrap in a box. In fact, the box was ginormous that it came in, which I hate that Amazon does that. So not that it wasn't well protected, and I think these kind of coils are more apt to bending. I've never had an issue in the past with these making pages not turnable, but aesthetically speaking, I think this coil color is really cool. I like this copper, but that said, I think it doesn't look or feel quite as high end. I don't know if that's just my first impressions and I'm making that up, but I do like the color of it, and I like the combination of colors here, but I don't know if these are the same typical quality. I should have grabbed my old Flex from last year to see if there's any difference in actual quality of these coils. So, and then obviously back is the normal back here. Okay, so that's what you can expect from Inkwell. Same thing here. Obviously I haven't tested a decal on this yet, so I don't know if this will hold a decal very well. It feels like the same exact vinyl cover as last year, which wasn't phenomenal for decals. So there's that. Okay, so you open it up, you have the same ruler that you always get. I think this is the same exact kind of like layout and cut. I know in my disc planner this thing broke, but in the coil planner it's a lot easier to get it in and out without the little nubs breaking. Then you have the usual, you know, intro pages here. Okay, my first impression of this, you guys, is that this paper is not the same quality. And I obviously need to write on it and pay more, you know, spend more time with it. But let me kind of open up to a page here. Maybe, I don't know, this just feels different. I'm trying to see if I can see if the color is different at all. This, at first glance, the paper for the 2020 looks whiter. Tanya's paper in the past always had a little bit of an off-white color to it. I think it was just the quality and the kind of paper she was using. It's obviously very nice paper. I don't know if I'm making that up or not. I'm gonna, again, have to spend more time with the planner. It just feels, it doesn't feel the same. So once you get your hands on it, you'll have to let me know your thoughts. But you always have this like little welcome thing from Tanya here, a page about the videos that you can access, you know, the usual, like write your name and stuff in your planner. I never fill this out. I do like these color combinations, this splash of pink, which I don't even like pink, but I do like this, like, it's almost like a corally fuchsia pink with the teal, looks really nice. I do like this kind of grayish green for the tabs. I think that is nice. And I can't remember last year's, what color the tabs were last year. I should have clearly brought my other one out here. Okay, so let's get into the first thing. This hasn't changed. There's still the first part is the important dates. She's picked more of a script font. I actually know what this font is, and I've used it in the past on our stickers before. It is a nice font. And then she's got kind of a serif font here. So this is her important date section. And she added this little thing here that says, this year I'm looking forward to. So that's kind of a cool little touch. Maybe you can kind of encapsulate the whole year with like a theme that you're looking forward to. So it's kind of a neat little add-on. You still see this ombre kind of hexagon diamondy pattern that you see as her header in her planner kind of year over year. But the layout is nice, it's fresh, and all that. Let me pause for a second and go get the old planner so I can actually compare this. I totally lied, I don't have the coil bound planner from last year. I have the flex inserts, but this will give you guys an idea so we can kind of see. So let's go back for a second. This video is clearly gonna be long. So this is no matter if you got the coil or the disc last year, this is, the inserts are exactly the same. So you can see here, this is what the flex, or this is what the cover page looked like. And then let me just flip to the important dates again. So here's the 2020 version, and here was the 2019 version. So it is nice to have a different color. Obviously teals and greens are her company, or her branding. So it was nice to see something a little different. Oh, I'm sticking to the coil here. So I do like that. I do like the layout. You have the number 2 for the, you know, what month it is and the month. It looks like because of that though, you're gonna get less lines here. I know a lot of people don't use this section, but this one had essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you have about 10 to 12, depending on if you write on the top or the bottom line. Here you're gonna have, because you can't really, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have about like 7 to 9 lines here, and the line height is much taller. So if you have big handwriting, you might appreciate this more. I personally don't like really tall line heights. I like skinnier line heights, so this is more my jam. But again, you can see this is the exact same header as far as like this ombre thing going on here. She just added a box here and just relaid out the design a little bit. So that's that. Okay, so this is the new layout for the goals thing. I could kind of peek at this through the Amazon images, and I thought, well, that looks really aesthetically cool. I don't think this is super functional. So again, I think it's cool. She's trying to refresh the layout and the design of it. Let's look at it compared to the old one. So the old one was pretty much this year over year, where each of the goals was mapped out in a box with some lines here. You have the colors that coordinate with each of the categories, the mission statement, and over here you have the quarterly breakdown, again, in boxes with these color coordinated mini hexes that indicate how to break down the bigger goals down into the quarter goals. This is weird to me. So I think, again, it looks cool. I like her font selection. I like the color selection. You can see the goal colors from last year here. They're a little more vibrant here. They're not as pronounced on the page because they're just kind of these little lines. So again, the design is cool. This I find real weird because it doesn't give you a lot of space to write. Now, you don't need to have 70 million goals. I'm not a proponent of having like 10 goals per year, but I personally like lines. That's one thing I really like about Inkwell Press is you have lines. That's why I can't do Erin Condren. I like lines to write on. This is going to end up like a cluster, in my opinion. While this may be more aesthetically boring, I think this is more functional, even though this is design-wise more interesting. So it looks like she's changed it from mission to focus. So I can appreciate that. I think the word mission, people get caught up on having some kind of like eloquently written statement versus just saying like my focus this year. So I do like that change. She's kept the categories the same, what is it, 6 categories. But again, I think this writing space is super weird. It doesn't give you the same amount of space for each category. It's creative, but I don't think it's functional. Over here, I think this is fine. Let's see how many lines you get here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you do get 6 lines, which coordinates obviously with the 6 categories, which I find this again is another weird thing here because as you can see, each category has a coordinating color, just like it did here with these little double arrows. So then when you popped over on the 2019 and in previous years, you had the color coordinating mini hex. So let's see, personals is like tealish color. Well, then month 3, personal, I want to do this. Here, it's a little bit more arbitrary, which I think maybe she took this away because maybe if you're not using all these categories, you can use these lines as you see fit versus being attached to this piece here of going, okay, what's my personal goal at 3 months, da 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 da. So I guess this lack of kind of structure in a way gives you more flexibility, so I get that part. But it also seems odd because again, all you have here is the same design transferred over, but it doesn't really, to me, break it down from if my personal goal, maybe my financial goal for the year is to put $6,000 in my IRA. Well, then I need to, I guess this is an opportunity for us to make a sticker. We can make stickers that coordinate color-wise with this. But again, long story short, I could talk about this forever because this is actually one of the things I think is a missing link in the Inkwell Press system as far as goals go, is I don't think it's a very systematic process of breaking things down, aesthetically, design-wise, anything. Anyways, that's just, again, for another video. My point is, it's a very nice, refreshed look. I think it's bright, it's fun, it's different, it's clean. I don't think it's super functional or intuitive. Okay, I guess I could have said that instead of rambling. So that's what we have there. Okay, so then we get into the next part, which is your 2020 calendar. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, you do have that here. So this is so she changed the layout here. I think this is cool. She took this same header here and brought it down the side. I think the design this year is fresh. It's nice. It's nice to see something new, taking her elements and just turning them a little bit. I don't use that. I know a lot of people do for different annual planning and stuff like that. Okay, so you have a quote on the front, it looks like of each, nope, I lied. There's a quote here. And this is a Tanya Dalton quote, so I'm sure it's from her book or something like that. So again, it's nice, I like the color, I like the hand lettering kind of thing. It's cute that it says let's start here, so that's nice. The pages turn fine, just like you can expect in her coil bound planners. So here you have the month. Nothing obviously has changed here. Let me flip. Okay, do I have a month? My planners are kind of like Franken planners from using them to design stickers and things like that. Let me find a blank month. Okay, So let's look at the header from the two planners. So you have the same exact design here. Obviously she changed the font and she changed the font. So that's exactly the same. Again, you can't expect these planner companies every year to come up with a brand new design. They stay on brand and they make minor tweaks, maybe in fonts or colors and things like that, just to freshen it up a bit. You still have the little next month calendar here. You still have your important dates and holidays there. The top 5 changed and the notes changed. I personally don't like this sidebar. This is way too small to write, and I hate not having lines. I end up like writing on all different angles. So I've never really used this sidebar much, but anyways, that's my thoughts on that. It's a standard calendar. There's not much I think you can do to it design-wise. It's the typical Inkwell Press design. Okay, so then we get into color palette number 1. So you have this like greens and teals and grays. I actually really do like this. I think it's nice and neutral. I think it's kind of Tanya's go-to neutral because she doesn't do like a gray scale or anything like that, but she kind of keeps these like greenish grays together. There's not a lot of variation in these colors. So every color palette typically has 6 colors. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 3 grays. Both of these are the same. These 2 aren't too different. And then you almost have this like black. From designing sticker standpoint, guys, this is super hard because really when we look at this, we can give you 4 colors that are basically the same. So this is obviously greener than this, but they're not very different. And this is deeper than this, but they're not very different. So when you look at getting a sheet of stickers, this is very limiting. I like how it looks, but this is going to present a huge challenge to us to design stickers when we literally are working with basically 2 colors. Let me see if I have January's from last year to give you guys a comparison. Okay. Ah, crap. Okay, well, I can look at April. No, May. Okay, so here's the color palette 1 from last year. So let's go like this. So last year was, you know, the Cinnamon Bay. The good thing with the Cinnamon Bay palette, you could see, is we had a lot more color options. She still kind of uses these 3 grays here, always uses that like honeycomb thing down here. There's always a quote. This obviously is one of the colors, this black. So we always have an issue with stickers when we have a color that's super dark or super light. This you can barely see once it's a sticker. This you can't write on once it's a sticker. So again, I do like these colors for the first palette. They're going to present an issue for us design-wise with stickers, and we may have to come up with an accent color that's not in this palette to use. This is not changed. Clearly, it's the same as it's been the past couple of years. I don't use this page in the disc planner. This is actually in the back. I find if I don't have my daily habit tracker as an insert in the middle of my week, I never flip back to this. I don't think it's a non-usable page or inefficient or not user-friendly. I just tend to not want to have to flip back. I don't really use this again because in the disc planner, this is at the back. I could actually see this page redesigned as almost like a dashboard being more usable. So maybe I need to make something like that. But this is like the standard of what you can see, obviously, in every year's planner. Okay, so then we get into the first weekly spread of the Flex. Let me see here, so compare it to last year's. So you can see nothing's really changed. You still have the weekly focus and you have the notes section. Again, I've never liked the weekly focus on the Classic or the Flex because there's no lines. I know a lot of people will just cover this up with stickers. I think this may be more interesting if it said weekly highlights or something. There's these focuses everywhere. And I think when this is at the bottom, you don't necessarily think, oh, my focus is down. My brain goes, if I'm going to have something to focus on, it needs to be at the top versus the bottom. So I don't know if that would aesthetically look right up here, but from a brain functioning way, I think this is weird that it's down here. I think it should be called like highlights or recap or something else. But you can see that's the exact same as it was last year. The only thing that's changed, obviously, is fonts. Instead of having the word of the day of the week and the month laid out like that, this year she went with the abbreviation and the numerical date. So I like that. I think every time she changes that, though, the space change, I don't know, I'd have to measure it. But anyways, you still have your daily boxes. I know people have a love-hate with those, as do I. You have a really big, I guess, is the margin always this big down here? I feel like the margin is humongous this year down here on this at the bottom. It is bigger, I think. So I don't know. That just seems like this layout. These margins seem big. Not that you really write down here anyways, but that just seems odd. So you have the green is kind of your accent color. So the irony, the weird thing with Inkwell Press Planner is you have this mission board, right, with these supposed 6 colors. They're not really 6 colors all the time. And then this should carry over right into the week. So it looks like you have this darker green, which might be this. Sometimes these colors don't really borrow from here. There are other colors that are similar. And then this green, really honestly, you guys, is not even close to these two. So it's almost like it's a muted version maybe of this. It could be this color in here. Obviously you don't want to make these too dark because then people can't write on them, and they're always ombre style where they go from dark to light, or ombre, however you say that. But now that I'm looking at this, this does seem, is it just me, or does this seem like these colors, maybe it's a version of this. In person, I can tell you, this does not look like these colors. Honestly, it looks more like, well, here's Yosemite from last year. That's a little bit more yellow of your green, so it is different. But anyways, okay, so obviously you know how this goes. You flip through this guy. Here we go, we got that. Let's go on to the next. Then you always have, same as usual, you have your dock at the back. That hasn't changed. This layout's the same. Okay, so we go to February and we have the new color palette. So you can see by this hint up here, it's going to be a peachy color, and we have this guy. I actually don't hate this. I think this is interesting. We have some new colors in here, a little more variety. So if we look at the color palette too, last year was Everglades. This has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 fairly unique colors. You can see these are just one's darker, one's lighter, one's darker, one's lighter. Again, when we make stickers, that sometimes can be a challenge, but you at least get a little bit more variety. You can see in Everglades, you just had basically 3 different variations of blue and 2 yellows that were almost the same. So splashing in this third color here, this orange, really gives you more variety of color. I think this palette, although again you have more green, I think the green is different than the previous month's green. So that is, I do think this palette is nice. So then let's flip and see what we have here for the accent color. So your accent color, your ombre boxes are here. So it's this peachy color. This one, this palette makes more sense to me because it borrows, these obviously are the same, and then here one of these two is what they're using there. So this palette number 2, I don't know what it's called, makes more sense to me. And it gives us sticker-wise and design-wise a lot more options. So I like that one. Obviously we go through here, we have all those. So let's just skip ahead. So we have March. We have a yellow accent. I actually have learned to really like yellow now. So let's see what is our palette number 3. Okay, so palette number 3, actually now that I have last year's open, is not far off from Everglades, which was palette number 2. So the yellows are different. These are orangier yellows, and the blues are more green. So it is different, but you can see how year over year, there's still a lot of carryover from, you know, just subtle variations of palette, which if you buy our stickers, that's why a lot of times you can use previous color palettes for the stickers to match. I personally just like always to have new stickers and new colors because they are different. These are different yellows. These are different greens and blues. If you look at this third palette compared to the second palette, you can see that these greens are very similar. And a lot of times when we go through color matching, we find that there's colors that are carried over from palette to palette within that year. So these, I think, are probably the same color, honestly, or a very slight variation. And honestly, this color and this color are probably damn near the same. So last year's palette number 3, let me see if I can find one. Last year's palette number 3 was Blue Ridge. So you can see again, I bet you this color, well, it's a little different, and it's a little different. So again, they're subtly different, but you can see how there's just subtle variations year over year. But I do like this palette. It's nice, it's fresh, It's, you know, not too dark, not too light, so I like it. So then again, you can see here, I think this palette makes more sense as far as the colors it borrows from the mission board. You have a lighter, like a bluish green. What did we have here? Pink, and then we had a greener green. So these aren't very different. This is a little more grayish blue. So you can see here that she's probably taking, I don't know, this color and making it the boxes. I don't know. All right, so let's get back to look at the last palette. So looks like we have a purplish back on in the planner again. There was no purple last year. So let's see what palette number 4 is. So it's kind of like a cranberry color. This is pretty refreshing. I do like this. Palette number 4 last year, I could not stand. I hated Yosemite so much. I know people liked the green. I just didn't like it. So you can see here again, there's some carryover, and I didn't have her very first 2015 palette or planner, but I've seen pictures of it, and I think these colors are damn near the same as some of the palette, one of the palettes in the 2015, this cranberry and this limeish green. So at least we do have a little more variety here. You can see 2 different tones of this green, 2 different tones of this bluish green, and then this accent color. So this will make things a little easier for us to work with sticker-wise, but again, you can see, that's why some of you are like, oh, some of these lighter stickers are so light. There's really nothing we can do if we want to put 6 colors on a sheet without introducing a completely new color, because a lot of times these are just shade variations of the same color. So that is the 4th palette. So let's look in here and see what the accent color is. So you can see she pulls this here, and then it's like a green again. So there's a lot of green in this planner. That is clearly the theme. So this is borrowing, I think, this color here as the lighter one. So I wonder if she's done that because I think over the years people have said they want to have more a neutralish kind of planner from her, and so maybe by keeping these colors subtle, you kind of don't have to contend with so much color. I actually don't hate this combination. I think it's kind of refreshing. So again, let's look at these accent colors one more time. So this is the 4th palette. It's kind of a limeish light green, which borrows from that one. This one is kind of a greenish gray for palette 3, and it seems to pull, I think, more from this color. Palette number 2 is like a peachy color, and it seems to pull on the mission board from one of these 2. And then palette number 4 is again just your green, which to me doesn't really borrow from any of those. I don't think it looks like any of those. So that's the color palettes, guys. So let's keep flipping through. You know how the planner works. And let's get to the very end here. So you obviously end with your December, your grid paper, and then you get into your extras. She's revamped some of these extras. I think some of them are cool, and for me, some of them are just useless. So she redesigned the gift list. Let me see if I have any of these extras back here to compare. I do. Okay, so last year, the gift list was like 2 pages long. So you can see she's still doing the box thing. She still has the name of the person that the gift is for, the gift itself, the store that it's for, and the price. So last year it was who the person was, the idea, the item that you purchased, and what was spent. So it's a little different. This actually, I think, makes a little more sense. And I think it's a good one, but I personally don't need this in my planner. I think these should be taken out of the disc planner, which maybe they are, and sold as a separate packet, because I don't necessarily think this gift list is something that everybody uses. I don't know, comment below and let me know if you use it. And then she changed, you can see the ideas for me at the bottom is still a box. It's just a different design. Okay, so then she added this I'm grateful for thing, which I think is really, really cool. I think the downfall of this is, one, it's not lined, which I think is a downfall and a plus. Obviously you can maybe do more hand lettering, more decorative. Maybe you could put a little picture from like something in there, a sticker. But if you like lines and you just like to write down a gratitude, this shape is a bit odd. Most people like to write like a sentence left to right on a whole sheet. This could be like, I was grateful for, and you might want to write a few words. So I think the idea is cool. I don't necessarily know that I'd want to write 1 gratitude per month, unless you were just doing this as a way to reflect at the end of the month, my 1 gratitude or 2 gratitudes. I don't know. I don't know, you have to let me know when you watch the video what you think about this. If you think this is designed in a way that's useful. I think its placement in the back, I will never look at this if I had the coil planner. I think I'd be better served in this situation to have a separate gratitude journal or buy the disc planner and put an insert in my week so that I could have it front of mind. And again, while design-wise this looks really cool, I don't know from a handwriting standpoint if this shape of this space makes sense. So yeah, there's that. This is new. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so then we have this other new thing called the bucket list. I think this is pretty cool. Again, everything in the back of the planner, I never flip to. So it looks like usually after the gift list, there was this travel itinerary thing, and she took this out for this year. So that is no more, which I think is fine. I don't know how many people use that. I don't travel that much, so I never use that. The bucket list thing is cool. I think it can apply to more people. I think it's fun. It says adventures to plan for, experiences to savor, achievements to conquer, creativity to cultivate, white space to create. I don't follow Tanya's Live Well method. I've never taken the course. I don't really follow her podcast. I mean, even though we make stickers for her planner, I don't follow a lot of the extra stuff. So I don't know if these little prompts have to do with her method philosophy. I think they're cool. I think without knowledge of her method, I don't think they're intuitive. I think adventures to plan for as a bucket list makes sense. She's really big into this white space thing, so if you follow her stuff, this will make more sense to you, I think. I don't know, I think it could have just equally as been served well to just be like a bucket list. Maybe like places to go, things to do, something that's a little bit more standard. But again, if you like her prompts, I think this design is really cool. Okay, then we have this thing. Oh shoot, I think I just jacked it. Okay, no, here we go. Okay, so then we have this thing, which is the monthly automations. Create a system that works for you. For more help, go to inkwellpress.com/automations. Clearly I should have done that before doing this video because I have no idea how to use this. This is completely unintuitive to me. So you have the days of the week going across, and then you have week 1, 2, 3, 4, and daily tasks. So I think this is all about automating tasks. Maybe Mondays is your laundry day. So maybe this is about charting out your automations. That's kind of like intuitively what I would say. It's like maybe Monday's grocery day, Tuesday is vacuum day, Wednesday's meal plan day, whatever. And then you can kind of map it out. I think the thing that's, again, you're getting just a sampling of these, so maybe these will be sold as their own thing in the disc planner, because obviously you can only use this, I don't know if you're using it as a checklist. I don't know, guys. I need to go to this thing and figure out how to do this, because it doesn't make sense to me. It's a very small writing space, which I have small handwriting a lot of times, so that doesn't matter. But at first glance, this is not intuitive. But if you follow Tanya's stuff, maybe it is. Or if you go to the website, clearly maybe it is. So that is obviously not in last year's. Let's flip to the next extra, which is the bill tracker. This is one extra that Tanya includes that I really, really like. This is one of my favorite downloads and things that she has. It just works for me with the way my brain works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the way she created this year, you actually lose a bill that you can use on it. So last year's, you got 6 this way. She created this little extra piece here that says monthly budget, which this to me seems odd, because you wouldn't have a monthly budget that's just one whole amount. You'd have like a utilities budget and a grocery shopping budget. Maybe this is just your overall expenses, how much you want, I don't know. This is cool, looks cool, but I don't know about the function of that. Just as an updated version of that, I think by putting the month on every single bill, you obviously had to lose a line space. So I like this. I think this, I'm not even like a paper bill tracker person. I use Excel spreadsheets, but this, I think, I always like it. Minus the fact that because this header is bigger too, so you lose one. You definitely need, obviously, nobody only has 5 bills. Even me, who's a super minimalist, I have more than 5 bills. So that guy's still in there. And then you have her project planner. I think this design is way cuter than last year's design. Not that cuteness matters when you're planning projects, but I think us planner people can appreciate cuteness. Try to get both of these in here. Okay, so this is this year's, this is last year's. These colors are cool. I like this pink with the teal. That's clearly the theme. Last year was kind of this yellow. It looks like she's changed it a little bit. You got project name. Oh no, there's still budget down here. Brainstorming and tasks. And then looks like she got rid of the timeline and just gave you room for, oh no. Yeah, there's no timeline on here. There's a deadline now. This for me wouldn't work because I can't brainstorm in this small little space. And I don't think every project has a budget. Maybe it's just I don't know. I don't use project planning pages, so maybe I shouldn't even be commenting on this. Let me know if you guys use this. I don't think the design is bad. And maybe I should be using this, but I don't. So there's that. I think it's laid out cool. If you use it, maybe you love it and it works for you, but there's that. And then it looks like we have I think she improved the grid paper this year. I remember when she got, so if you look at last year's and the years past, there was always the little icon, her logo, and then a date and a subject. She's changed this. Last year it looks like the lines were green and gray. This year it looks like they're all gray. So she's got her like ombre situation here and then the topic. So I think this is a better use of the paper space. This kind of ate into usable space. You always had to work around that piece. So you get that. You get quite a few pages there. You have the next year at a glance, which I think was in here. Again, these are the parts of the planner I never use. So yeah, let's look. This is similar. Here you go. You can see just kind of laying it out different. She still have lines. There's only 3 lines here. Last year there was 4. And then you have the pocket thingy. I never use that. Then you have this thing. I never use that. And then you have your band. So this is a super long video, you guys, but I wanted to kind of really go over everything and give you my first impression. First impression, to me, it's a standard Inkwell press planner that we've all come to expect as far as the design goes and for the most part, the quality. I think the colors are better. I think that the paper is still thick and I might be making it up, but I think it's different. I don't think it's quite as thick. I don't even know if there's a way for me to actually know that. I should probably do some kind of pen test or something. I think that the fonts and the design, it's fresh, it's updated, it's nice. I do think that the updated goals thing is super not user-friendly. This page is more user-friendly than this page. I like the colors of the goals, that's cool. And I think some of the extras are neat. I like the design of them, but I think some of them are like kind of laid out funny or not useful for everybody. But I think people will be happy with it. Now that is if you like the flex, and if you need the classic, you're gonna have to move to the disc planner. I do recommend the disc planner. I like it a lot. It's high quality, pages turn well. I have 2 videos on that if you wanna, hear my thoughts on the disc planner. If you're not into the disc planner and you need a coil bound planner or a coil free vertical planner, looks like you're going to have to go to a different company because they are not going to be producing the A5s. They're not going to be producing the coil free either layout or the coil bound classic. So they're consolidating this product line a lot, and I'm not sure from an outsider's perspective why that is, but obviously there's nothing we can do about it. And if you want a certain product they no longer sell, time to get to searching for a new planner. But if you like the disc or you like the flex, I think you're still going to be happy with this planner. All right, guys, this is the longest video I've ever made, and it might be the chappiest, weirdest video, depending on what didn't get recorded. Let me know your thoughts on everything below. What planner you plan on getting? If you're bummed that your planner is not available from Inkwell Press anymore, where are you going next year? And remember, guys, if you buy our stickers, they still work in a ton of different planners. The width of any of our boxes and headers are 1.5, so pretty much any planner that's standard, 1.5 width columns, our stickers will work in them. You can make any sticker work anywhere. So that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.